So Abby Grossberg used to work for Fox News, and she's of course suing Tucker Carlson and the Fox network. And man, she's got some stories. She's seen it all behind the scenes. But what you're about to see here really caught my attention because what she's going to lay out is an astonishing amount of power that Tucker Carlson had, that Fox News had on Republican politicians. This is unmatched. You don't see anything like this when it comes to centrists. You don't see anything like this when it comes to leftists. This is just the right and the sway that Fox News has. So listen to this story, and then I'll break it down for you.
Persona.
Yeah. I mean, they believed that he could broker who was Speaker, House Speaker. He wanted to do that live on air, but Kevin McCarthy said no.
What do you mean he wanted to do that live on air?
His plan was to have Kevin McCarthy come on the show, according to Justin Wells revealed this grand plan to us. Tucker, a few days earlier, had sort of set some terms for McCarthy, which included this church kind of committee that he said about, I think this was about January 5th, so about January 2nd, he said, you should have this church committee. So fast forward to January 5th, they start asking me to book McCarthy on the show that night. I had worked with him a lot when I was at Sunday Morning Futures and had a relationship with his team. That afternoon, Justin came in and he said, here's the plan. Tucker's going to first have Kevin on, hear him beg and grovel. Then we'll bring in Matt Gaetz, and Matt Gaetz will then kind of set his terms. Then Tucker will set his terms that McCarthy has to agree to.
Tucker Carlson had terms that McCarthy
had terms. And we're going to make this whole thing happen on air and save the Republican Party. Now, fortunately, for McCarthy's sake, he said no. But he did call Tucker the next day from his office with Representative Thomas Massie and had agreed to some of Tucker's terms, according to a text that Tucker had sent me. And he said that was a win.
Prior to working for Carlson, you worked on Maria Bartiromo.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So Tucker wanted to broker, remember the fight going on between Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert versus like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kevin McCarthy? There was a very vibrant fight about who would be the next House Speaker. And, you know, McCarthy and Boebert made demands. And of course, their demands were dumb and bad. It's like they want the Republican Party to be even more vicious and worse. And Tucker was like, I can fix this. I can broker a deal. Let's have Gaetz on. We'll talk to him. Let's have McCarthy on. We'll talk to him. We'll listen to the demands of Gaetz. I'll list out my own demands. We'll bring them up to McCarthy. We'll get McCarthy's approval, and then he'll get their votes. He wanted to broker it on air. Now, again, McCarthy said no. But according to Abby Grossberg, Tucker Carlson still had a phone conversation with McCarthy and gave some of his demands, and McCarthy agreed to some of them, and then he became Speaker. Oh, my God. Look, I want to criticize it. I'm going to criticize it because I'm sure his demands are very stupid and, like, bad for the country. But honestly, the thing I'm feeling more than anything else is jealousy at the moment. Why? You've never seen an actual lefty media figure with this much power. Even the most powerful lefty media figure, according to the numbers, and not even lefty, liberal media figure, Rachel Maddow, she never had this sort of power. Nobody at CNN, nobody at MSNBC, certainly nobody in, left independent media, like actual left, they never have this power. People in our position have to claw and scratch and try everything we can, pressure campaigns, whatever, to try to have even the tiniest modicum, a fraction of influence. Then you got Tucker Carlson on phone calls with Kevin McCarthy making demands and some of them getting approved and okayed by him for him to become Speaker. Democrats despise their base. Republicans are scared of their base and will bend the knee to them. That's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing. Man. That's how powerful that 8 p.m. slot is on Fox News. Now, by the way, I have no doubt Bill O'Reilly was in a similar position when he had that power, when he had that time slot. He was number one in his position for like 2 decades, and he had a line open to all these different Republican politicians, and that helped shape the agenda. So you have right-wing media is listening, right-wing politicians are listening to right-wing media. And it's sort of like the blind leading the blind in a way, right? Because then at other times you had right-wing media just like cowering and giving into the mob of right-wing fanatic supporters, QAnon-brained weirdos. We saw that with a lot of the internal text messages that came out, the Stop the Steal nonsense. Like, I actually don't know who's the leader and who's following. It probably flips on a daily basis over there, right? But again, on the left, what do you have? You have a bunch of people who mean well, who are correct on policy, screaming into the ether in the wilderness, and then you have Democratic politicians who are out in la-la land in their own little bubble and really not addressing the concerns of the people, and they don't have a direct line to people in media, who, by the way, oftentimes it is people in media who have a better sense of, you know, what's popular, what's not popular, what's worth pursuing, what's not, you know what I mean? Like, there's framing and messaging stuff that comes from media, which is actually very useful, but they don't want to use it. They hate any sort of leftist online or left media or even liberal media and centrist media, if you will. And so, but this is the power of Fox News, man. It is astonishing. It really is something else. And now a lot of people have been saying, oh, he'll be just as powerful, if not more powerful, Tucker, now that he's off there. No, he's not. That 8 p.m. time slot on Fox News comes with tremendous power. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be like small now. No, if Tucker Carlson does some independent podcast or whatever, works for another network, he'll still have a tremendous amount of power and sway, but is never going to sniff what he was here. Because this is truly next level. You are a real power broker in this scenario. And the other thing is, among Republican politicians, I'm sure they all watch Fox News religiously, right? They have the one place that they go to where they get most of their stuff. Whereas I don't think there's any analog to that on the Democratic side. I really don't. I think they're all over the place. Some watch CNN, some watch MSNBC, some people read, some people, maybe a handful, might watch some online shows like Ro Khanna, who seems to be more plugged in than a lot of the others. But what a story. Holy cow, man. Holy cow. Fox News, as much as we dunk on Fox News and we make fun of Fox News, I don't think I do it enough because they still carry a monumental, humongous, gargantuan amount of sway in this country and over the Republican Party. And it's doing God's work to try to tear them down because they absolutely have a deleterious effect on all of us. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.